So what is the associative property? The associative property basically states that the grouping of numbers when you're doing the operation does not change the value. And I'll give an example to make that make more sense. So if we had the numbers 8 plus 4 plus 2, for instance, well, you could add this from left to right, right? So I'm going to do parentheses to show that I'm grouping these numbers together and I'm adding them first. So I'm doing 8 plus 4 first. So that gives me 12, and I still have plus 2. 12 plus 2 is equal to 14. So 8 plus 4 plus 2 is equal to 14. Now, let's do the same thing, these same additions, but instead of adding 8 and 4 together first, I'm actually going to add 4 and 2 together first. So I'm going to put my parentheses to show that I've grouped these together. I'm adding them together first. So you get 8, and then plus 4 plus 2 is 6. So now you have 8 plus 6. And this is also equal to 14. So you see that addition has the associative property. You can add multiple numbers in any grouping that you like, and you will still get the same answer. Now let's try with subtraction. Let's do 8 minus 4 minus 2. So we can do it from left to right first. So let's do that right there. And if we do this, we get 8 minus 4 is 4, minus 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. So we get 2 there. Let's do the same thing, but now we're going to subtract these first and group them. So 4 minus 2, or we can have 8, minus 4 minus 2 is 2. So now we have 8 minus 2, and that is equal to 6. So if we group them differently, we get different answers. So now you're probably wondering, well, which answer is correct? Which way of grouping it is correct? So when we don't have the associative property, for instance with subtraction does not have the associative property. The way you group it does matter to get the correct answer. And when we don't have the associative property, the correct way to do it is from left to right. And that should make sense because the original problem we had was 8 minus 4 minus 2 in that order. So that's why going from left to right is the way you just have to do it to get the correct answer for subtraction, which does not have the associative property. If you're adding, we just proved that it doesn't matter the grouping. When you're subtracting, you have to go from left to right. And that's just something you got to know in math. So now let's see about multiplication. If we multiply through numbers, so we can do 8 times 4 times 2. Just keep the same numbers. So we can do this from left to right. So I'm going to put my parentheses to show that we're grouping those together. 8 times 4, definitely learn your multiplication tables to be able to do these fast. That's going to be 32. And we're multiplying that by 2. 32 times 2, you have 32 2 times. So 32, another 32, that's going to be 64. So 8 times 4 times 2 is 64. Now let's try grouping them differently. So we're going to have 8 times 4 times 2 again. But now we're going to do the 4 and the 2 first. So I put my parentheses, show we're grouping them. 4 times 2 is 8. And if you know your multiplication tables, you know that 8 times 8 is also 64. So we see again that multiplication does have the associative property, and you can group numbers that are being multiplied together in any fashion, and you will still get the same answer. Now let's look at division as our last operation. 8 divided by 4 divided by 2. So we can do this from left to right first. So I'm going to draw my parentheses. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So we get here that 8 divided by 4 divided by 2 is 1. Now let's try it again, but let's try doing 4 and 2 first before we do 8. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So we see that we grouped it differently, we got different answers. So what does that mean? That means that division does not have the associative property. And what did we say about operations that don't have the associative property? How do we get the correct answer? Well, if you remember to subtraction, we use the left to right method to get the correct answer. And again, this should make sense because if you're saying it out loud, 8 divided by 4 divided by 2. So you're starting out with 8, you're dividing it by 4, and you're dividing it by 2. And so that's why going from left to right will get you the correct answer when you have division, because it doesn't have the associative property. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you have any questions at all, definitely put them down in the comments, and I will catch you all in the next video.